Part 2. Now, which of these dogs is trained to the highest standard? Well, none of them are trained to a higher standard. It's all a question of style in that video. They're all trained to an equally high standard. When you have the standard that I just rubbed out accidentally in a trial, okay, or a working standard, so we're talking police dogs, military dogs, that kind of shit. Your pet dogs, etc. You've got to decide, what style you want to blah blah blah. So which standard should you train to? Well, you've got three options basically. Your standard, someone else's, or a trial, competition, and then I'll put working standard here because there's quite a bit of controversy either side there. Right, okay, so which one to choose? Well, I'll tell you which one not to choose. Don't choose someone else's standard. That is a trap. It's easy to fall into. People watch your training or they watch your video, they nitpick at it, and then you find yourself caught in an ego trap where you're trying to keep them happy instead of yourself. So which of these two then, three even, is the highest standard? Most people will say this. But what they're talking about there is the level of detail. It doesn't actually say in the IPO rules that your dog has to stare at you and all that. It just says an attentive heel. That's the style that's sort of evolved in IPO. That's what people like to see, and it will probably get you more points. So, which is the best standard pick? This one, your standard. Always train to your standard, because that's how you do best in your dog training. That's how I do best in my dog training anyway. And if you want to trial your dog, you've got to make your standard the same as the trial or competition standard. You've got to want to do it. You've got to believe in it. And you've got to have fun doing it. If any of those elements are missing, it's going to be stressful and horrible, and I wouldn't bother doing it. Now, I know I'm talking about heeling here, but that's just because it's easy to talk about heeling, because there's such vast difference between. I could have done retrieves as well, because the difference between a ring sport retrieve and IPO is fucking massive, but both are just as well trained. Okay, I haven't talked about working standard. Now that's like military dogs, police dogs, close protection dogs, that kind of shit, right? A lot of people will look at, say for example, a security dog healing and go, that's all shit. This trial competition is much higher standard. But it's not, it's just a different standard. These are all different standards. None are higher, none are lower. They're just different. Okay? Yes, these dogs may have to deal with more detail. But this dog here may be walking to heel in a busy shopping centre looking out for some lunatic with a gun. Okay? That could be close protection, probably in America, or it could be a police dog, it could be a security dog. These dogs are going to be trained to a very high standard. They've got to work under actual genuine civilian conditions, okay? So IPO's no higher, it's just high, it's a different, more detailed standard. And I don't know which one's harder to train, to be honest with you, because they're so wildly different. When you go to do an IPO trial, you're on a nice field. You know what I mean? Even in working trials, you could be walking around in a shitty, muddy field which isn't being cut or anything. So the detail makes it harder, but then the venue makes it easier. The detail's less for a working dog, but the venue's much harder. because there's way more distraction, way more variables. There's no surprises in a trial, certainly not in IPO. There is in sort of ring sport, PSA, things like that. But in working, every day can be a surprise. Okay, so none of this is bagging trials at all. I think it's absolutely fantastic that people do trials, and I love watching them. However, if you do decide that you're going to make your standard a trial or competition standard, and you want to do it and you believe in it and you're going to have fun, the good thing about trials, and they are good, is that more experienced competitors can give you pointers and direction to how you can get closer to the standard and style that's expected for that trial. It's very valuable information, and you should listen to it to an extent. And I think that's the end of that. No, it's not. The whole point of this video was pick the standard to which you are going to train, whatever it is, whether it's working, trials, pet, your own unique standard. Pick the standard and visualize in your head what you want, how you fit, what you want the criteria are of that standard, what it should look like, and all that malarkey in the finished picture, and stick to it. Okay, there we are. That was such a convoluted video, but it's a fucking minefield for people giving me shit, so that's all I'm going to say on it. Other than this, see this healing, yeah, trial type healing, with the dog staring up at you adoringly, which everybody loves. That is cool. I'm not being a dick. Okay? Your dog isn't genuinely paying attention to its surroundings. Honest to God, I'll show you. Sorry this video's been so long, but it really is basically the most important part of your dog training. It's you got to get set in your mind the standard that you want to train to and stick to it. Sorry about Tilly barking, she's in season, she's pissed off. So I'll give you a quick video in reference to healing, what I like my healing to look like, which is Sally. I forgot to say that in the whole video. So here's another quick video. Okay.